Welcome to the Bite Back Morning Drive with me, Jon D'Agostino from D'Agostino and Associates. I'm going to talk to professionals about how they handle the potholes and curves without the crash and burn. They're going to share how they make the journey the most important part of their lives. So buckle up, because here we go. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's so exciting to have you. I should tell everybody that you are are you a former chiropractor? Are you currently still considered a chiropractor? I guess you are, right?
That's a good question. I'm definitely retired. I've been retired for 15 years, but I think I'll always be a chiropractor in my heart. I
Okay.
don't practice, but
Well, that's
I'll always
okay.
be a chiropractor in my
I'm
heart
sure you have friends that ask you to take a look at this and take a look at that and put your
all
hands on
day
their neck.
long.
Yeah, I don't think it ever leaves you, because we all have those little aches and pains and conditions, and we turn to the people, especially our friends, who have that special skill sets to take a look and
Especially now. I live in a community that's this active community in Florida, and I'm at a different age level now, where everybody is just everything hurts. They play cripple ball, they play tennis, they play golf, everything. Everybody has tendinitis. Everybody goes to sleep feeling fine and wakes up with a new injury the next day. And everybody asks me, but I
I get it.
care. Like I
Yeah,
still
of
really care. Like
course.
I'm still really interested.
Yeah, at this point in our lives, we've gathered all this wisdom, and we've developed these skill sets. Individually, we all have our own. Whether somebody has accounting or chiropractic or legal or whatever, and so we lean on each other. And I'll still reach out to friends of mine when I have something going on or my neck and my back, and even though they may not be in practice, I still will get an adjustment or two here and there, right?
Yeah, sometimes you just want an unbiased opinion, not somebody that you're going to pay for just before you go to the person that you have to pay for. You just want like the pre-opinion.
But you're always going to be Dr. Bonnie Glassman to me. So,
Thank you.
and so you practiced for what, 20 years?
Yeah, over 20 years,
And
22 years I practice.
what I'm, what I'm, what I love about you, Bonnie, honestly, is for me, you check a lot of boxes. At this point in my life, I love talking to people who have run their own businesses, and have also, I don't want to say run their families, but they've built, a family. You've had daughters, you've raised daughters, you've been in a relationship with your husband for over 30 years. And you've kind of navigated through it all. And that's why we call this the morning drive, and yet you have maintained passions, and chased passions, and you're still chasing passions. So I love that. And I'm doing the same thing. So we can relate, we can talk about this stuff all day long, but I'm curious, what you think about where you are kind of on this journey right now. I know you have your first grandchild coming.
Yes,
We
I
have
do
another
have a
child getting
grandchild
married,
coming.
a wedding
Yeah.
coming.
The other one's getting married.
Yeah.
It's funny because I thank you for having me on this. I really
Yeah.
appreciate those kind words, but you've been a huge inspiration to me. I
Oh,
always feel like you're the kind of person I remember the time when you said, I'm going to be a songwriter one day, and you would sit in your backyard and write songs, and then you develop this massive,
yeah.
business, and you bring things to fruition, and I've always admired that about you.
I-
You've been inspirational to me.
Well,
Um, but
I mean,
but
to me, chasing passions. I mean, a lot of people dream, and they wonder what would
and
happen if they chase
talk.
those dreams, right? You know,
Mhm. A
and
a
I'm
lot of
not.
people dream and talk and don't ever take any action, and I think little tiny small steps of action become cumulative fast
Oh yeah,
and start to build
oh yeah,
momentum.
and it's never too late, until it is, right? So
Do you ever feel that way now? Do you ever feel like, uh-oh, those numbers are kind of climbing up. I still have some dreams and passions, and not that time is running out, but maybe I should work a little faster, or maybe I should just let some of them go. I never know which direction to go in with some of them.
I know the real dreams from the fantasies, right? And I know the
Mhm.
passions that I need to chase, because I hate the thought of regret. So I would rather say I I tried that thing, and boy, did it go bad, badly, rather than wonder what would have happened had I tried. So I do try some crazy things. We've had our RV adventure, and that went great. That was our post-COVID. Let's get an Airstream. Let's go. You don't want to fly or stay in hotels, so let's go see the country.
That's
And
one. That's on my bucket list. Was it worth doing?
it was phenomenal. And I am the unhandiest, if that's a word, or least handy person. So every time something happened, I was on YouTube and we figured it out, and we figured it out together. And to me, it was such a romantic gesture. It was like, let's get an Airstream. Let's after 40 years together, spend even more time together. When husbands and wives are finding out they don't have much in common sometimes later on, I'm trying to create new adventures, right? And it was fun.
I like the fact that you figured it out together and you didn't kill each other. I
COVID
don't know
helped
if
me.
I'd be able to do that with my
No,
husband.
well, here's the thing, Ronnie. It's finding the silver linings. I'm always, for some reason, we don't know how we're hardwired, right? But I do think solution when there's a problem. I do think silver linings do exist. It's kind of like that make lemonade thing,
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, here I am. We love to travel. We love to travel. And here's COVID, and here's my wife saying, I'm not going to stay in a hotel. I'm not going to get on an airplane. And I'm maybe a little bit in panic mode saying, well, I like to move. I like to see, I like to do, that. So my wife would never have considered an RV before COVID, but the angle that I approached it with was, listen, I know this is going to sound crazy, but imagine if we can travel, do this, go here, and have our own linens, our own bathroom, our own kitchen, and she's like, okay, let's go to the showroom and see what it's all about. Once we did that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did it. And you know what? We did it for 2 years. The world started to get normal again. And then we we sold it. I got my money back, because it was on demand, and it was a lot of fun. But, how does it feel for you now to be, I call it the sixth inning. We're in the sixth inning right now of life,
I know.
What are you looking at? What are you thinking about?
Since I retired, I left chiropractic. I had a back injury and I really destroyed my own body taking care of people. I gave so much of myself that I actually gave too much and destroyed myself. But the silver lining behind that was when I gave up my practice, I was home for high school. I was home for the high school years for my girls. And to me, that was that was unbelievable.
And you pivoted into another career.
Yes, I embraced my husband needed to lose some weight, and somebody introduced me to a weight loss program, and I made him my guinea pig just to help him, really not to do anything. And the results were so phenomenal. He lost 60 pounds in 90 days, and the whole world wanted to know, what'd you do? How'd you do it? And he said, talk to Bonnie. Here, talk to my wife. So I recognized right there and then that there was an opportunity. Instead of saying, sometimes you really got to look at things with an open mind and open eyes and open ears.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, let your ego get in the way and kind of say like, oh no, I'm a doctor. I'm not going to start selling, diet food. Like I realized, whoa, this is something I'm interested in. I've always been an advocate of health and wellness. My motto is empowering you to choose health and wellness. And I went with it, and I was able to build a business from that.
How many clients did you build that up to?
Thousands.
Wow.
Thousands.
And then things changed, right, in the world.
And then GLP-1s came out, and there went my business. Nobody wants to eat food. Everybody just wants a quick fix, and it really, really hurt my business. I still have a lot of people that don't want the medicine and want to do it the right way, because at the end of the day, even though I can provide like portion control, meal replacements, and help people with food, what I really teach is habits, being mindful, making proper choices, micro choices that lead to macro choices, and being like portion control and choosing exercise.
I'm curious, what would you say is the average age of one of your, do we call them clients?
Clients, they're not patients. I'm
right.
not a doctor.
What would you say the average age is of a typical client? Before the Ozempic and all that stuff came into play.
I had, because of my two daughters,
What do you know?
40.
40?
I had literally had 12-year-olds and I had 82-year-olds.
Wow. Okay.
Everybody cares. And the funny thing is, one of the things that I realized why, and I embraced the opportunity of that after chiropractic, was because I used to always think, well, everybody has a spine. Everybody wants to take care of their spine and their spinal health.
Yeah.
Nobody cares unless they have pain, but everybody wants to get rid of extra weight. Everybody cares because of vanity and health reasons. So there were more people interested in losing weight than there were people
Okay.
ever taking care of their spines.
So where are you now from your peak of that business? Out of 100%, are you left now?
25.
Okay.
And it's, it makes me reevaluate a few things at this age. I always thought I could have that in my back pocket and help
Yep.
people, and I loved it. And I still help people with nutrition and making choices and habits, but it's not the same. It's not as lucrative. And, it changed a lot. So
Okay. Well,
lately, I'm trying to reevaluate that. You have a job for me? You have anything I could do remotely? I'm
maybe you can
trying to
write a
figure out
song.
what I want to do.
Let's write a song about Ozempic and
Yeah, and weight loss.
weight loss.
You know,
No, but
I,
you're
I
still
think I'm not done. I got to tell you, like, I
no.
still think
Yeah.
with my daughters, we think about going into exercise industry. I think about getting yoga and meditation certified so I can specifically help post-op,
So
post-op back patients.
that's exactly what I love about you. It's that mindset that, okay, what now? What's next? What can I do? As opposed to woe is me,
Yeah,
because
never.
people do go into that, things change, life changes. I love change. I'm
Hmm.
from the mindset of you evolve or you die, and I'm always, I feel like reinventing the wheel with my own law practice. I mean, we constantly are evolving in so many ways. Right now we're looking to add certain areas that relate to personal injury, social security, workers' comp, no fault arbitrations. It's always like looking ahead. I'm always looking 1 to 3 to 5 years ahead so that we're not surprised. When COVID hit, just to go back to that for a second, we were ready. My firm, there were almost 50 of us at that time. I only furloughed 3 workers. We were ready. We had the phone systems already, an advanced system. The IT guy was, the guy we needed. Everybody worked remotely from home for, a few months, and we didn't miss a beat. We just kept going. It was great. And it
You
really,
have to be.
yeah.
I always say stagnant water grows
Oh,
mold.
right.
You
Exactly.
you cannot stay stagnant. You have to move with the time. Sometimes, at my age now, sometimes I feel like the world is moving a little too fast for me. It's a
Right.
little scary.
Well, as you get older, it moves even faster. The days fly, right? You're a kid and
Mhm.
summer vacation feels like an eternity. And now you're an adult and the summer comes and goes in a blink of an eye, right?
Yeah,
In the blink of an eye, you're going to be a grandma, you know?
I know. I'm gonna be a
And here I
grandma. I'm
am.
gonna have another son-in-law. I'm so
It's amazing.
excited.
I mean, I
I
have 4 grandchildren and it blows my mind. I have this new identity known as Pop,
I
which is
love that.
the best role, right?
I think I'm
Um,
gonna be called Bon Bon. I think
you
that's
don't
gonna
get to
be my
decide.
grandma name.
I hate to tell you this, but I thought I was going to be grandpa because my grandfather was grandpa until my first granddaughter, Charlotte, called me Pop. And then every grandchild after that, your first grandchild will name you.
Right.
You can
Oh,
try.
that's cute.
Yeah, I became Pop and my wife became Gaga. So we are the Pop and Gaga show,
Oh,
and
I love
they always
that.
want to hang out with Pop and Gaga, sleep over, Pop
They're
and Gaga's house.
beautiful. Your kids are beautiful. I
Okay.
follow you all
So,
on Facebook. It's
yeah,
great.
thanks. It's
Yeah.
amazing. So,
Yeah, I'm still evolving. I mean, like now I'm like I always wanted to invent. I have like a list of inventions.
yeah,
Um, some of them have already been invented and I got to cross them off my list, but like that's another passion of mine. I say, well, I'm going to invent one day. I'm going to take a product or something and go through the invention process. Um,
yeah.
and then but I know once I have grandchildren, all bets are off. I'll be like, I'm here. I'm going to become a babysitter. That's what I'm going to
You know,
become.
you just have to keep an open mind and follow your heart. I followed my heart, like you said, into songwriting, but I'm what I call 1,000%er. I'm either 1,000% in or I'm out. If you notice, I don't dabble, and I
Right.
know your husband is a phenomenal golfer, um, the only way to do that and be that kind of golfer is to love it and play a
Right.
lot. and
Right.
practice a lot. I
Right.
was never going to be that. If I do something, I like to feel like I can do it well, or I don't want to do it, quite
Right.
frankly. Um, so, the songwriting thing, I dove in. I became a sponge. I went to Nashville. I was going monthly. I took classes and symposiums, and I met with professional songwriters who evaluated my songs. And it took me, to the point where I was winning contests, and eventually I became a publisher. But guess what? After 12 years of being a publisher and having my own 10 writers write for our company, I started to get tired of it. I started to lose the passion. I didn't want. I love writing. I'm always going to be a writer, and I love the creative part. I didn't like running that business and the law business. And right now we're in a position where we're going to be kind of selling the publishing part as I continue to write for the musicals that I'm developing, which is my new passion right now. And developing.
Right.
And
I remember a point of going into my practice and being like, I just didn't like it anymore. I hated the business of it. Like in every business there's a dark side. Like,
yeah,
oh, that looks like a great business. Oh, they make so much money, but they don't see the underbelly. They don't see the dark side of the business. And sometimes when you're in it so deep and you're only in the dark side, like I built my business, my chiropractic business. I was loved being a chiropractor. And then I built this multidisciplinary facility with all these doctors and patients, and we were
it's huge.
we had
It's
a big
great.
practice.
Yeah,
And then I realized, well, now all I'm doing is running a practice for other doctors who are prima donnas and like
it starts to feel
patients, oh,
it starts
it
to
was.
feel like a grind,
And
and
then
you're
I couldn't
grinding
get
out.
paid. The insurance companies were horrible, and it was just,
Here's the
the
thing.
biggest joy was talking to friends like you, my
And we
personal
were
injury
colleagues. I mean, we were
exploiter.
working
Right.
together. You were treating my clients, and I was representing your patients
Right. That
for
was the
years.
fun
And it was
part of the
great.
business, the
Yeah,
networking.
network. No, it's true. And we had to wear those hats along with the hats of running the business and hiring and firing and all that stuff. So, I love it. I still love it. And when I don't love it, I'm afraid of the day I wake up, on Monday morning, or I go to sleep Sunday night, not excited to get to work Monday. But Monday to me is still the first inning. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah, I remember thinking like it's not fair. It's not good energy to even bring that to people after a while. And as a healer and as a person that is really a nurturer, I didn't want to do that to people anymore. If I didn't want to like, oh, I got to treat her. I don't
Yeah,
want to walk
right.
in the
No, it's
room.
fair.
Nobody deserves that energy ever. And
I'll tell you.
and
I'll tell you
I
what.
ended up injuring myself.
Yeah, yeah.
The stress of it, I think,
That's
really
that.
got to me.
Well, because stress is horrible, and you know what? We can have a whole nother conversation about ways to deal with stress, because I've learned that stress, um, I think by definition, is worrying about something that hasn't happened yet. You're thinking about something into the future, and you're worrying about it, and lots of times, most times, it doesn't happen.
Right.
But then you got the other kind of stress where you're in it, you're dealing with it. If you're not excited about it, I still 36 years in now, when I'm in my office and I see on the screen a new case is calling in on this line, or a new case on that line, I still get excited. And when I stop getting excited, I tell my kids, who are my son and my daughter, who are attorneys in the firm, that's when we all have to start thinking and worrying. Because if I'm not excited about growth and strength and doing the right thing and caring about our clients and getting the results they deserve, um, that tells me that I'm ready to do something else. I mean, really,
Tell
just
me about working with your kids. I can't imagine ever bringing my kids. I told my kids not to go into
I'll tell you
chiropractic and
about it.
medicine because of the business. You just couldn't get paid.
Yeah.
So it just wasn't a good business model.
So the kids I'm lucky because my kids are great kids, number one.
Hmm.
I'm also lucky because they have different skill sets. They're very different. They're not competing against each other in any way within my firm. My daughter is more uh, policy, staff, administration driven. She's very involved in all things staff, policy. And my son really doesn't want to be involved in that. He's more involved with clients and cases, and he probably settles more cases than any five of my attorneys. That's why we nickname him the closer. My daughter is the one who carries a little bit more of the knowledge and understanding of the rules and the manual, and she's more sensitive to, her eyes and ears are on. So she's got that from me. And my son has the that touch with the clients and keeping them happy. And, not that my daughter doesn't, because she's just a warm, wonderful person. But I think that he, day in, day out, is thinking about, you know, dealing with the judges, the mediators, the clients, insurance, all that, and getting the cases resolved. He's just that guy, that attorney that knows how to get the case resolved. And only 5% of these cases go to trial. So you really need somebody to be good at that. At the same time, you need somebody who can kind of crack the whip when it needs to be cracked, and care about following the rules, creating the rules, and looking to the future and what we need to change. And so they listen to each other. So they work well together. They respect each other,
right.
which I love.
That's good parenting. You did
But
a good job.
It's a lot of work on me, because I'm constantly training them as lawyers and training them to be more involved in running the firm. Maybe someday.
So you can have an exit strategy.
I don't know what that is. Right now it's not there, but maybe it'll be there a little less, and do what they need me to do more. We'll figure that out. But I gotta say something. I just want to go back for a second, because I don't want to raise the sexism issue here, but you're a woman, and it had to be challenging for you to start and build your own practice. I wasn't dealing with a lot of female chiropractors. You're one of
there weren't a lot of female chiropractors when I was in school.
And you're more than just a chiropractor. You ran your own, like you said.
Well, just to go back to what you were talking about, I had to wear every hat. I mean, if I walked into the bathroom in my practice and I saw that it was dirty or there was inventory missing, I was in there cleaning it. I didn't care. It was my place. It was my reputation. Everything from, Dr. Glassman, the copier is broken, to, I was big enough to have all of these things and a staff and everything, but I wasn't big enough or lucrative enough to hire a whole separate person or department to handle those things. So back then we didn't have deliveries. I mean, maybe Staples delivered, but I couldn't just go on Amazon and order stuff. On the weekends I was in Costco buying all supplies for my office, and it was hard. It was hard emotionally, physically, and mentally, because you have to be the doctor. I wear the doctor hat and use your brains. Physically, I was a chiropractor. I was, working on people all the time. And emotionally, you get attached. You get attached to your staff. You get attached to your patients and their stories. And I care. I'm a caring person. So, and then I went home and juggled everything. And
being a mom,
being a mom, which, by the way, is my greatest accomplishment. I got to say, I'm not a bragger mom, but my girls are wonderful. They're married to wonderful people. They're successful. They are nice. They have friends. They're terrific people. And to me, whatever I did, and all the days that I wasn't home and I felt guilty about that, something went right along the way. I feel really good about that.
A lot went right, and a lot went right because you were there. I'm sure you were there for your daughters, and I'm sure
present. When I was there, I was present.
I wrote a song.
It wasn't this. I wasn't like this as a mom.
No. I wrote a song once called "How to Love." It's a country song. It's a love song, country song, and it's a young girl talking about how her father taught her how to love. Never through his words, never through his conversations. Like, this is how to love. This is how to find somebody who's good. But by watching her dad reach for her mom's hand for no reason at all and bring home flowers so watching her dad love her mom taught her how she should be loved by a man. And it's a really nice song. I really, really loved writing that one. But one other thing
to me, I want to hear.
I will. And one other thing that I want to mention is, through all this and through all these hats you're wearing and this business you're building, and I can tell you from the outside, from an attorney dealing with chiropractors, in our practice, you earned my respect, because I didn't see you as a man or a woman. I just saw you as a successful, caring chiropractor. So I knew when I referred a client, they were going to be taken care of, right? And you had a husband who had his own great career as a financial advisor. So I don't know where, maybe if you ever felt like you want to earn your own, within the marriage, or you ever got to a point where you said, you ever had that conversation? It was like, you don't need to do this, Bonnie. We don't need to do this. You don't need to put yourself through this pain. I'm sure you got to that point at some point.
Yes,
career.
definitely did.
Why are
Early
you
on,
putting
it
it
was me, but,
right?
then a couple
It
years
became,
later, it was like,
yeah, why am I
I'm
doing this?
right.
And when the love is not there, and the pain or the stress and all that outweighs the love of it all, then you've got to make decisions, and you've got to pivot, like you said.
There's one motto I tell my girls all the time for a good life. You gotta be happy going to work every day, and you gotta be happy coming home every night. Otherwise, you're completely out of balance. We know those workaholics that hate going home, and we know those people who hate going to work and they dread going to work every day.
Yeah.
It's not healthy. You gotta find that balance. Whatever it is, wherever it is, it's to me, that's what I'm most grateful for.
I'm going to ask you one thing. I'm going to ask you two things. I'm going to wrap this up. But one is, we talk about all of the times you've pivoted and all of the good. What about when you look in that rear view, since it's the morning drive, you look back and have regrets? Do you wish you did something or tried something?
I try not to look in my rear view mirror unless I want to go there, right? Like I try
That's,
to
that's
focus on
policy.
where I want to go, not backwards. There's probably things if you could do it over, but none of us can. But I might have done something different, like become a plastic surgeon or like
Interesting.
instead of a chiropractor. I would have loved that because I am creative and it just didn't
Right.
seem to be in my path or trajectory when I was thinking about it at 20 years old. I went into practice at 23 years old alone. So,
26 for me.
yeah, it was just I was young and I went to college at 16 and I was finished in chiropractic school. I was a young person, the
Yeah.
youngest person there. It
Yeah.
just, but I don't really regret. Like, I feel like that's another thing. I feel like life is like a jigsaw puzzle. I just keep collecting all the little pieces and every piece matters, whether it's the corner piece, the center piece, you never want to be missing a piece at the end. And I think that, adversity is life's university. You
I
need to
love that.
have some adversity. You make the wrong turn, it's like Waze, it just keeps correcting you. Eventually you'll
Yep.
find something new. And
Yeah. Okay.
there's
I
things
love
you
that.
find out along the way that make me the person that I am.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes
it's a lesson. It's okay.
yeah. And I guess, you've touched on this already, but I'm a believer, and I've said this over and over, and I say this all the time: success leaves clues. Where you are in your life right now is, if you really look, and we've been digging and talking about it, but you look back, you'll see all the choices that you made that got you to this place of joy. You're in a very good place in your life right now because of the last 40 years of decisions you made, right? Basically, or
Right.
more. And you have two beautiful daughters who are now starting out in their lives as wives and mothers, and all that's going to all happen very quickly. And if they looked at the clues, not the words, not the things you've told them, but they looked at the clues that you've left them, um, what would you hope that they have learned from watching you know all these years?
Family comes first, but work and always be independent. I want my girls always to strive for more, continually educate themselves, um, go after their dreams, go after their goals, evolve. Don't be scared. Everything you really want is on the other side of fear. Like it's okay to go for things. And if it doesn't work out, you tried, but maybe you learned something along the way that will,
Yeah,
propagate you to the next point.
I would agree with
And the
all
law
of
of
that.
attraction. My
Yeah,
kids have powerful law of attraction, like that
awesome.
mindset.
And I would agree with everything that you said, except one thing, um, which is be scared. Be scared. It's okay to be scared, and
Mhm.
get outside your comfort zone. Go for it. Because when
Mhm.
you get too comfortable and too cozy, and I'll come back to this, morning drive analogy, and you're just in cruise control, it's not going to take you anywhere.
Right.
Cruise control doesn't take you anywhere.
When you're coasting, you're going downhill.
Yeah, it's just a very, to me, it's like, I'm not a roller coaster person, but the thrill of getting on a roller coaster is when your heart is racing as you're going up and you don't know where it's going to go and what's going to feel like. That's the best part of it, and I love that. And I look forward to whatever the next uncomfortable thing is that I can, make comfortable eventually by doing it, learning it, or maybe regret that I did it, but be happy that I tried, at the end of the day. So listen,
Good,
I mean, you and
good
I can
advice.
talk and talk and talk.
Forever.
Maybe we'll circle back and do this again someday.
Anytime.
But go to sleep. Go take a nap. I know you were.
I was up all night.
I'm going to put on my lawyer costume, and
It comes with age. Who sleeps at our age? Does anybody sleep at our age?
No time. There's no time. Clock is ticking. Too much to
Yes.
do. All right,
I
Bonnie.
know. All right. Be well.
Thanks so much.
Regards.
I'll
Take
see you
care.
later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah. You've been tuning in to the Bite Back Morning Drive with your host, yours truly, Jon D'Agostino. You can find this show on all major platforms, including YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on our website at www.daglawteam.com. Thank you for your positive reviews, your comments, questions, and for sharing this show with others. We'll see you on the next Morning Drive. D'Agostino, Law, Bite Back.